So I was watching a video the other day from a content creator called Eleanor Conway, and she was interviewing people at the recent Tommy Robinson Nationalist March, and she said something that really resonated with me.
And then I saw that the Unite the Kingdom March was happening in central London on Saturday, and I thought I should go to that. I wasn't prepared for what I saw, because beyond the flags and the chanting, it was a racist march.
Our street, New Street, our street, New Street, our street.
And the thing that terrified me the most was the amount of just normal geezer, white working class men. Just the type of men that I grew up with in the 90s in Milton Keynes, the guys that would protect you on a night out. He'd be like, all right, darling, is this guy bothering you? And then he'd smash him in the face. Do you know what I mean? I know those men. I know the geezer types that were at those marches. And I know that a working class geezer wouldn't have walked with the BNP in the early 90s. Are you crazy? But that's what I saw on Saturday, and it really scared me.
These are just normal guys. Just normal blokes, everyday blokes that enjoy football, that love a pub garden on a Sunday, or would crack a joke with you at the school gate. These are just average guys. And what has happened in recent years that they've been just swallowed up with nationalism? Like she said, in the 90s, these guys, they wouldn't be running with the likes of the BNP. Something has seriously happened over the last few years, and in my eyes, it's just the normalization of nationalism. On mainstream media now, every single day, Farage is on BBC News, he's on Sky News, he's on Question Time. He's mainstream promoting nationalism. And then if you go down to your YouTubes and your podcasts, you get the likes of Paul Golding from Britain First popping up on podcasts. You get Carl Benjamin from the Lotus Eaters promoting his views. You get Nick Tenconi, the UKIP leader, popping up on social media, on YouTube, all the time. This is mainstream media now, and they're all over it. Do you remember how controversial it was, 15, 20 years ago, when Nick Griffin, the then leader of the BNP party, came on Question Time? Everyone was going nuts. You can't do that. You can't let that man with his views come on Question Time on the BBC. Everyone went crazy. And now you get hundreds of thousands of people tuning in every day on YouTube to listen to Paul Golding talk about the Great Replacement theory, which is the theory that Muslims are only coming over here to eradicate the white race.
This country is historically a white Christian nation, and I want to see it preserved that way. Ethnic minorities should always be minorities. We're in a situation now with the Great Replacement and the promotion of feminism and the LGBT ideology where our birth rate has collapsed, but we're allowing in millions and millions of third world immigrants.
Or you get Nick Tenconi popping up on podcasts and YouTube channels, just openly talking about the policy of remigration, of deporting hundreds of thousands of British citizens.
So let's be very clear. Mass deportations is not the same conversation as remigration. So stage one is mass deportations, predominantly to do with illegals.
Yeah.
And stage two is remigration.
Okay.
Which is what Europe is now turning its heads to, because Europe is 5-10 years deeper into the pit of hell. And the British communities that aren't affected yet by Operation Scatter and mass uncontrolled immigration, they will be soon.
These people and their views are presented as the mainstream. Their podcasts, their YouTube channels, the money has gone into it. They're well produced. They have good looking studios and great sound equipment. It's the mainstream. And then what happens is their views get parroted on the biggest and most listened to podcast in the world.
Tommy Robinson told me 43%, I don't know if this is true, but I think it's something like 43% of the immigrants that come into the UK and I think in Europe in general are on the dole, but especially in the UK. So they're on the dole. They're literally on welfare.
Yep.
And the main problem is that a lot of these people from certain countries don't assimilate.
No.
Because they are, Islamic first, and then, and essentially the whole idea is to get a caliphate, create a caliphate in the UK, which is insane.
Yeah. Well, they're doing it.
How do you fight that? How do you oppose that? How do you deal with that? Now, you may have noticed I'm in a different attire in a different location now, because I had to change the end of this video because I didn't actually hear the end of that clip when he was talking about a caliphate. How do you fight this? How do you fight that level of power that these people have when they can just spread such lies and misinformation? 43% of all migrants don't work that come to the UK. I mean, that is obviously absolute garbage. The largest slice of migration into this country is work visas. The only thing I can think of is Tommy Robinson has completely twisted the facts, and because we get a large chunk of foreign students come to this country, rich foreign students that probably don't work, he's been able to twist that fact. But then to say that they're going to come over and create a caliphate, and Joe Rogan's just like, yeah, it's happening. It's happening, with zero research into the topic. Just another one of his dickhead mates comes on the show, and that's enough evidence for him. He tells him that fact. Oh, I won't look into it. You know, my podcast reached millions and millions of viewers, but I won't look into it to see if it's actually true or not. Nah, just spread it out. But that is now being presented as fact on the biggest podcast in the world. So is there any wonder? Is there any wonder that 150,000 blokes, normal geezers in this country, are descending on London when they're getting Nigel Farage shoved down their throats on mainstream media every single day? The likes of Carl Benjamin, the likes of Paul Golding on YouTube every single day. The algorithm pumping this stuff into their brains every single day. Is there any wonder? Is there any wonder why 150,000 people descend on London? How do you fight this? How do you oppose this stuff? And this is the question, really, isn't it? And let's get real. I think we're doing a pretty piss poor job of trying to oppose it, because it's hard. We haven't had to deal with this sort of level of technology before. This is new. It's unprecedented. These views can be pushed out to hundreds of millions of people all over the world. But, you know, what are we doing to oppose it? Pretty much arguing with people on Twitter, calling people morons, calling people stupid, calling the 150,000 just average blokes that get wrapped up in these algorithms and end up marching on London, just calling them racist, calling them idiots. And does that actually ever work? Does that tactic ever actually achieve anything? Or does it just push those people further towards the likes of Paul Golding and Tommy Robinson? This is the thing, like, you know, this stuff is not new. This just gets recycled every sort of 10 years. 1930s and 40s with the movement of the British fascists, you had the same propaganda being pushed out about Jewish migration. Oh, they're gonna rape our women. Their strange religion is going to twist our British culture. The same stuff was parroted. And then in the 70s and 80s, you've got the National Front with the Caribbean migrants that were coming over to build our roads, to work in our hospitals. But no, they're going to take our women. They're going to push their culture into Britain. The same thing just gets recycled every single time. And now we've got this with Islam and Muslim migration, and the same thing is happening. The same people are coming out, but now they've got a much stronger weapon in social media, in YouTube, in podcasts. You know, your likes of Nick Griffin and Tommy Robinson back in the 90s and the early 2000s could only dream of having access to this amount of power, to be able to push their message out to hundreds of thousands and millions of people. This is the difference between the 30s and 40s, between the 70s and the 80s. This is the big difference now. The power of the internet to just push out damaging lies and misinformation. And the big argument, the big question at the moment is about free speech online. People are being arrested for saying this, for saying that. But there needs to be, I've done a video about this previously, I'll put a tag at the end. There needs to be a serious conversation about the legality of just spreading pure lies and misinformation online. You know, I don't have the answers on how to fight this, but all I want to do really is just keep pushing the message and exposing the people at the top of this, encouraging average blokes, average geezers to stop following these guys, man. What are you doing with your life? Why are you handing your life over to the likes of Paul Golding, to Nick Tenconi? Why are you handing you only get one life, guys, one life. Do you want to feel it with hate? Do you want to fill it with negativity and just pure hatred for people that you've never met. Is this how you want to spend your life? You want to hand your life over to people like these guys? They may present themselves in nice suits on well-produced podcasts, but these are not nice human beings. They are evil human beings. Nick Tenconi of UKIP, the amount of videos that I've seen of him over in Calais just abusing migrants, people that have escaped war, escaped countries that have gone through hell, and he is going over there and just abusing them.
Who do you think you're speaking to? You're not coming to Britain. We've got your face. You're not coming to Britain. Yeah? All your faces. All your faces. Shut up.
You want to hand your life over to this guy? You want to dedicate your life to this guy? Paul Golding, disgusting human being. I mean, just watch the Channel 4 documentary, A Year with the Far Right, where Harry Shukmans spent a year with Britain First. You'll see the disgusting displays of racism. You'll see the Holocaust denials. These are the sort of people, the 150,000 normal blokes, these are the sort of people that you're now dedicating your life to, that have these sort of views. Like I say, I don't know how to solve this. How do you fight the power of a Joe Rogan podcast that gets millions of views and spouts this nonsense out? But all we can do is just it's got to come from positivity, man. I've always been against hate. Don't hate. I don't want to hate on these poor guys that have just got caught up in the algorithm of nationalism through no fault of their own. This technology is so powerful now. It's not their fault. I want to keep exposing the people like Nick Tenconi and Paul Golding for the disgusting people they are, but also just keep spreading a message of positivity. Man, don't dedicate your life to these people. Start spending time with family and friends. Start pursuing hobbies. Go back to what actually is important in life, the people that are around you and the community that you live in, making that community better. The Channel 4 documentary was it's based on a book by Harry Shukmans, The Year of the Rat. I recommend reading it. I'm listening to it at the moment in the van. And one of the points that he makes, which is quite interesting, is the majority of these guys in Britain First, they're just lonely. They're lonely. They're searching for meaning in their life. You know, isn't that what we're all searching for with an epidemic of loneliness that we seem to have in 2020's Britain? We're all just searching for meaning in life, a purpose. You know, we want to feel important. We want to have friends and family and feel that our life matters and has meaning. And unfortunately, these poor guys, these guys have just gone down this nationalism route. That's where they've been able to crave meaning. And people like Paul Golding and Nick Tenconi have exploited that. Anyway, folks, that's enough from me today. If you enjoyed the video, if you've watched this far, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a like and subscribe. It really helps. I really want to push these videos out to as many people as possible. And till next time, take care.